Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. Good to see a Brayherd Lord, good to see a Beer Fox, good to see a Bad Roxy. Hope everyone's doing well. And Brayherd, congratulations. You have actually won the Crown of Furstendom this day. You are no second today. You are first. Congratulations to you. And I see the rest of chat is counting great as well. You know, third, fourth, thirst. Good job, y'all. Hope everyone's doing well. We're going to be diving back into some Wildmender. I don't remember what we were up to. So let's find out. Do I like peaches? Peaches are okay. They're not high on my fruit tier list, but they're middle. 397s. They're good with numbers, not words, but numbers are words. Counting is words. Oh, right. We almost died because we were like, oh, what's this tree? And then there's all of that going on down there. So I need to find... Oh, it's cold up here. I need to find a teleportation spot, which it looks like there's one... How do I zoom in again? There we go. No! This map is a little... Oh, that's not even where I am. That's the Temple of Gleb. This is where I am. My nearest teleportation is on that spot. Oh! This is the Temple of Oros. So what's that tree that's being attacked? You have found the truth of history, that the Wraiths have always been here. I don't feel like I found that. I think I accidentally found my way here, Oros, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, love. Hey, hope. Good to see y'all. What made the Wraith so successful was their cowardice. They appealed to a timeless past, free of pain. But they have planted seeds instead of... But you have planted seeds instead of fear. You planted a seed of the mountains here as well. Okay, what does that mean? Why are you talking in riddles? Hold on, I want to take a screenshot. What would you say should be the age range for Spiritfarer? Ooh, That's a tricky one. Because, like, the gameplay and everything, it's like, really, it's like just about any other video game that Chad would play. So in that way, it's not too wild, but then it starts talking about suicide and death in really heavy ways, really good ways, but... So I guess maybe have a conversation with them before you give it to them? To gauge it? Because that's a tricky one. No, no, no. That's okay, Crystals. You can leave me alone. I probably didn't need to do that, but... Oros! What? I teleported into that rock. Hello, Wraith. Ah! Nope. No. Where is... Okay, so it's on the other side of that rock face. I think I have to take out these wraiths. They're gonna bug me if I don't. Ow! Oros! I'm gonna have so many words for you! Still up and over on the other side of that. I hope some amaranth has grown while I've been away, because I need some food. There it is. Our ticket home. We can do this. We survived. See, I'm pretty hungry, so let's munch on some amaranth. Also, sleeping will help me, should help me regain a lot of my health. Okay, what all do I have in my bag? Ooh, I could plant some Skytorch seeds. That seems like a good thing, since I don't have any yet. See, wild fallen star flower. Didn't mean to munch on that flower, but here we are. mean, I have eaten flowers IRL. That's all too crowded. Star Metal. An Oracle Fig. I already have some Oracle Figs. Ooh. Wild Moon Glory Flower. I don't have that growing somewhere yet. Ooh, a Wild Sky Torch. And Giant Fallen Starflower. Don't know if I'm gonna have space for this flower, but love to plant it out here, but it's too dry. As I get closer to the water, it's all too crowded. Well, anything spoiled goes in the compost bin. Oh yeah, and pine cones. I got pine cones. Gonna hold on to the water ring for now because I might want that. If I decide to go back to the desert. See, we do have a shard to give our friend. Hi, Vigius. Prayer. Propose to the soul of Sandy Ann, mother of a friend of mine. She passed this morning. Oh, eternal rest grant unto her, O Lord. Yeah, absolutely. Gracious loving God, we commend to you the soul of Sandy Ann and trust that she is in your loving embrace and looks upon your face with great joy. Grant unto her the rest and consolation of eternal life. And grant unto her family and those who mourn her the spirit of consolation, spirit of hope, to be with them in their time of mourning. Grant them the strength to persevere. I ask all this in the name of Christ our Lord. Amen. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Kit. Cold Sheer Cliffs, the pilgrims and shamans traveled there would spend years departing. Years preparing, I can read. We obviously don't have that sort of time. No, we don't. I remember some of their goals and wisdom. Come talk to me and I'd be happy to share them. I am talking to you. Why can't you just share them with me? Now let's try to plant some pine cones. Might be able to plant one more over on this side. I was right. Can you eat the pine cones in this? You can. I have eaten pine cones, so, you know, I get it. You know what's really sad about the pine cone candy? Pine nuts come from pine cones, so you'd think it would be good. Yo, pine cone? Okay. I was told I would have the opportunity to try a pine cone candy. You will! I will gladly share that with you. You might like it, actually. If you like the Turkish Pastiliat, the smoky, if you bring a pinecone candy to DoxCon, I will try it. I will try to remember, but I make no promises on that front. Have I checked their expiration date? No, but I can do that. I think I did actually last time I pulled this out. Let's see, expiration date. 10th of December 2025. I mean, it's a pine cone. Make it part of your booth at TwitchCon. I don't have a booth at TwitchCon. I'm just attending. Just bring a table and set up wherever. I have a feeling that won't work. They don't frown on that. Well, you know, they might. Fig. None of these are actually figs. These trees. Well, I guess since the next thing for the tree requires Gleb's blessing, let's try to figure out what we need for Gleb. Because we found Oros. Don't know if we got his blessing per se, but we found him. Because we did find Gleb's temple up here. I don't remember what's wrong with our ability. A spin the wheel of pain. I mean, candy would be a great stand at any convention. Oh, look, I must have, I have been here. I'll take the runic keys. And I'll just go back to home base real quickly. I think I might have to get people to sign like a waiver or something if I were to have a bad candy wheel. I'm gonna just make a new storage unit. Maybe? I thought. Oh, right. I will say, the crafting in this game is a little odd to me. Enable more complex magic on your person. You equip a second trinket. Let's go. Evil Candy, we would definitely get you. Yeah. Sometimes you just want to experience something, you know, even if it's marginally unpleasant. Some of these are more than marginal. I really need to organize my storage system. But today is not that day. Put away the dry amaranth grain for now. I think I'm going to wear the wooden bracelet as my second trinket. Just because extra inventory is really good. So I'll put that away for now, because I don't really need that. I can read that really quickly. I don't need the Trickster Treats with me right now. Okay. Let's read that. Get real hungry. Fig. Okay. Put that second slot. Okay. What time is it? It's 4 a.m., so the sun's actually going to be rising soon. Let's take a look at the quests. Okay. So for Oros, I need to plant some seeds, so I need to go get some sky seeds. Way to destroy. It's bringing dead plants back, which is useful. You consent to spraying yourself in the face with pepper spray? You sure about that? Like, that doesn't sound the worst on paper. It doesn't sound great either. What am I looking for? I'm looking for sky torch seeds. That's a dry sky torch seed. I think I planted all my other sky torches, but that's okay because we can find more / grow more. Okay, you know how companies will email you and the software knows to put your name in the email, pretty standard stuff. I just got one addressed to Luke. So that's gone wrong. I want to plant this because I want to push the meadow further. You know, the things they don't tell you is the pepper spray is sticky. Sure. I think I've lost the plot on chat today. Okay, so I need a bunch of acorns to make life sparks. That's not undoable. Can you use pepper spray as a hot sauce? I wouldn't recommend it. For legal and personal reasons, Father Evan does not condone the eating of pepper spray. It does Father Evan condone eating bad candies. Nope. You end up ghost peppering and inadvertently peppered your whole house. That one's up to Father Evan eats with mace sauce. I like spicy. I don't know if I like spicy that much. I also don't like wings. Hot and controversial take, I know, but it's true. Mace is used as a spice in Indian food. But mace, the ingredient, versus mace, the spray, a little different. That's right, mace is the flower of nutmeg. Hey, Matt Pack. I've had it with these brother loving specters in this brother loving garden. This is a brother loving garden. That mistberry bush died. Oh well. I have other mistberry bushes that are growing quite nicely. It's been a wild first week and a half of your new job. Oofta. Good wild or oofta wild, I guess, actually. Fresh ancient mistberries. That's interesting. I don't see the fresh thing too often. Just gonna take this moment to take a breath. Oofta. Ow, I poisoned myself. I wasn't paying attention. Classic conundrum of becoming a manager over people I've worked here with for 10 plus years. Who've been here for 10 plus years, but I've only been here a year. Ah. And I imagine your youthfulness is an added factor, too. You're on your 11 boss in less than 6 years. Yeah, that's an oofta in its own right, too. Plus obsess from both the Dean's office and those people has been helping. Ugh. I should really plant a mother seed over here. Oh, wait, that's what I'm doing. You applied to more jobs! That's awesome. Good luck. Hope this second round interview of the other one goes well, too. You live infinite water mechanics? What's your secret? How do you just generate water? Oh, Cork going on maternity leave. That's fun. Oh, you had an interview, Bad Roxy. You feel it went well? That's awesome. I didn't see that earlier. I'm sorry. Get that witchwood seed growing. So then I can make it a mother witchwood. If it isn't already. Because it is a mother seed, so I don't know how that works. Bit of a pay cut, but it'll be huge for your mental health and career growth. Yeah, so I think that honestly isn't a bad thing. Especially the mental health part. Like, pay cuts aren't great, but... what was I looking for? Oh no, chat, I lost the plot. You love winning bread, makes you feel like a duck. Quack. You really should eat peas instead of, and like, mix frozen peas with, like, birdseed. Ducks will love you. Bread makes you fat? Okay. So I don't know what to do about Gleb. Because it's all like poisoned everything up there. But we know where to get the sky torches, and we could plant them up here. Gale's Bread. Yeah, the game I Am Bread is actually a biography of Gale. It was very avant-garde, and people just didn't realize it. So is the point of this game to expand your garden in the desert? Because that's kind of cool. It is. So the plot is that you kind of wake up and the world's died, and your goal is not just to rebuild like a small garden. This whole place, this whole desert was actually once thriving and alive. So you're trying to regrow it, as well as there's sort of these deities, these gods, these spirits in the area who have been sort of forced into seclusion by the phantoms, the specters. So you're trying to free them as well, so you're kind of trying to bring back the divinity of the world. Whoosh. Okay, those are all pine cones. Is this torchwood? Ah, sky torch. That's what we're looking for. Now it says plant a sky torch in the designated area. What, pray tell, is the designated area? Your advice is stop being poisoned? Ah, it'll wear off eventually. Yeah, you can't see the... Well, you can see one of the prompts for the quest. Bordos described the history of the Wraiths and your own history. He tells you to plant a seed for a better future. Okay, I think we've broken the game, because I don't think... I was supposed to plant... Or I don't think I was supposed to find the main temple area. See, this is all dry. I can't plant there. The only water source is up there, but I can't get it open? Unless maybe is this the place I'm supposed to open up? Maybe that's what I'm supposed to open up. Perhaps the real designated here TM is the friends we made along the way. Oh no. The TM jokes have escaped containment on Monkey Island. They're in every stream now. What? I zipped. I zooped. Why are you following me. Ow! I need to take some medicine, like, right now. Otherwise, I'm gonna die. Oh, that's a copper vein right there. Monkey. We will be returning to Monkey on Thursday. Monkey will be fun. Ooh. Let's unearth this. Deceased person. Okay, so that's another teleportation spot. But down there is a water stone. You need an acorn? You need an acorn. Which are a little harder to get around here. Excuse me. Those rocks are floating. Oh, Miss Bear fall. Wow. Oh, it's a nice grave. Gonna have to remember that. Okay, so to the left over here. There it is. See, I need Discovery Pure Spring. Is that an ability? Waking Spring, Pure Spring. Yeah, okay. So I need to get more spiritual memories. From a guide I found. Only do this when prompted, or it can break the game a little bit. Oops. I may have broken the game a little bit. That's okay. It's what I accidentally do sometimes. So what I need to do, actually, so I actually feel like I know what I need to do for once. I need to get more spiritual skill points so I can unlock Waking Spring, Pure Spring. And so the best way to do that is by talking to the spiritual ghosts. It's just a sentence. Grow a patch of 6 mature. That's arcane memories. Foreign grave. You know what? We're gonna go back to our home base. Oh, I'm really hungry. Because from there, there's the one thing that, like, shows me where some graves are, and I can figure out which color I'm supposed to be looking for. Because it's been a while since I've actually done any of the grave quests, so I don't really remember who's what color. Yeah. Sometimes controls are not my strong suit. there. And then where is it? Here it is. Halo to Ancestral. Okay, so Spiritual is blue. So let's reveal as many ghosts and graves as we can for now, I guess. So hopefully... Yeah. See? You can see there's kind of 3 along that way, so that's pretty good and helpful. Reveal as many ghosts as I can right now and as many tombstones as I can. Okay, that's still helpful. I have no idea what they'll want, but odds are we probably have it. I'm actually going to plant this tainted dune grass, as weird as that may sound, because I think there's the one thing where it's like you need to plant the various kinds. Of the seeds. So easy and game breaking shouldn't be together. Well, you know. Ooh, sunburst shrub. So it's almost mature. Check on these, see how they're growing. Spoiled giant mistberries, but the spindlewood is growing nicely. Why are the pines ponderous? What could a pine tree possibly be thinking about? What is this red marker on my map? Is that a spot I died? That is a spot I died. We actually got everything back from that, so it should fade out eventually. So I need any sunburst seed, which is pretty easy to get, and an acorn. I can make a mother with that, but I think I'll make this one the mother, because it's almost... It only has 2 hours left of growth. It just has to go out that way. One of these might be an acorn, just sitting underneath this tree like this. Well, no, but sunburst seeds, which I need. Oh, I know where I can get an acorn. It's a lot of those. Hey, K-Max, good to see ya. Curiously enough, its thoughts were, oh no, not again. It said that if anyone within the universe understood why it thought that, they would achieve enlightenment or understand how silly all of the nonsense actually is. Ah, yes, the potted plant. Whose actual name I forget. It's been a while. Wildmender's going pretty good. If I can focus long enough to remember what I need to do. I may have broken the game slightly by finding a deity's shrine before I was supposed to. I like that it's Naya's acorn, but then when you actually pick it up, it's just like acorn. I wanted ancestral lilies. I just want more acorns. Take some amaranth grain while I'm here too. Oh, nope, that's spoiled. Yeah, that's what it does. Yeah. It'd be like that. It's the streamer passive. Boop. You're mature now? No, but almost. We could go to sleep and then wake up and we should be able to turn that into a mother. Such a weird line. I'll turn that into a mother. That sunburst shrub is dead. Oh. It just looks alive because it's surrounded by the leaves of the other tree. So I've got a tree over there, and then I'm going to make this witchwood a mother when it's fully developed. So it'll push the marsh out one way, and we'll push the meadow out the other. I used my giant mist berries to make my giant mist wine. Yes. Make a mother. That should... Yeah, look at that. It's starting to push the meadow out farther. I'd love to get this water integrated. Yes, throw yourself at the ground and miss. Agrajag, that's his name. Agrajag. We need to fill that slightly. I think that's probably as good as that's going to get for now. Until we can increase the flow of this. Yeah, I need stronger springs and quillstones. Anyway, we're gonna go look for ghosts. Because if I look at the map here, that one's actually pretty close. We could just, like, walk there. It's just, like, straight out this way. I think it's just... Yeah. It's up to the... where that structure is. Oh, there it is. Any ancestral lily flower. Okay, we can actually get those. Ancient acorn. Hello. What? I can plant it. Why have I not been planting my acorns? I need some wood. I can get that pretty easily. And then this will let us go back to base really quickly. Yeah, just use the regular acorn. So then we can teleport here. And we can get a couple of the ancestral lilies we need and plant some of these acorns, honestly. I think especially the ancient variety. Of course, we may not have space right now, and that's a problem. Crowded. That's dry. I'd rather you be too crowded than dry, because at least... Oh, I didn't mean to eat the acorn. Because at least when there's moisture... You'll grow. Oh, hey, look. Apparently that's not too crowded. It's all moon glories. Hello? Flowers? Okay, well, there's a white ancestral lily. And those are moon glories. Really need a thorntail pod right now. Oh, there we go. Foxglove Gate. Maybe that's why I'm getting poisoned. These are all powered by Foxglove. Yes, tell me your story. The smaller spirits have their own power not to be neglected. I wanted to meet the spirit darters of the forest, but they'd all hidden in fear. A ghost asked you to bring a spirit darter. Bring the Seeker's offering to a spirit darter. Okay, well, I have a bunch of spirit darters in my base, so that's easy. So if I keep going north... Yeah, okay, great. We can go talk to another ghost. It was probably this glowing light. Yep. Tell me your story. Don't despair, child. If you seek a better world, I'm sure the gods would aid you as they can. Yeah, spiritual memory. Let's go. I believe this ghost is also... Well, they're not really near a... There they are. You can see their light. But it's 5 a.m. It's actually... It's getting late. Ow! Oh, my magic ran out. That's why. So I'm actually going to go back to the home base for now. We'll go back to that other spirit tomorrow. Hey, look, a spirit darter. cannot interact with them 'cause they're right on top of the gate. There we go. Here's the offering. Yeah. Spiritual memory unlocked. Well, now that we've done a grave and a ghost, we should be able to unlock another one of each here. Actually, I can unlock a couple. Okay, that's as many as it can support for now. But that's not bad. Okay, so there's one out there in the middle of the salt flats. There's the one there. Oh, there's... So that's the one we just saw the light of in the top. Ah! I don't like that. So, zoom in and out are R1 and L1. I usually prefer it if they're, like, on the same side. And that's why I keep swapping back and forth. Okay, so I probably want to go there and teleport from the top and go south. But I might actually be able to unlock a new... Okay, so we have 7 spiritual points, so... Waking Spring... Okay, so we need 3 more for Pure Spring. Enhance Wellstones at any major spring. That seems like it would also be really useful. So let's get that. You can test what that does by going over to this one. Okay, so I can turn it into an Awakened Spring. Wake the sleeping spirit of this spring, increasing the water draws, allowing it to strengthen it further. Mate a stone enchanted with a bit of River Spirit's water. Placed near a major spring to draw more water from the underground. Okay, so let's go get some copper and some crystal. Ow! I hate these things. That did not actually want the ballistic stock right now. It feels like the beatings are continuing until morale improves sometimes, you know? It's Tuesday. Wonder if people ever think about how their email sounds? No. And do not assume to malice what is most likely due to ignorance. I didn't have enough sandstone. I didn't count. Of course, that always sounds simpler on paper than it actually is doing it. It's a line I use in the confessional a lot. Like, hey, here's some spiritual advice. It's probably going to be harder than it sounds. But I mean that well. Filling the app with trust. Yep. That's a good way to put it. Oh, you can make multiple wellstones at a place. Oh, that's kind of cool. Or I guess you can make a wellstone because it doesn't look like it's linked. Is it in my inventory? Oh, okay. Yeah. I have a wellstone. So if I interact with this, no link. How do I link a spring to it? Anyway, enough moping. Yeah, that's also sometimes an appropriate attitude. Oh, that just destroyed it. Expands spring? No, that just increases its water flow. This is saying it's like, because I can craft this. Place near a major spring to draw more water from the ground. Like, do I have to place it within the circle, or do I place it with that outside of? I'll place it outside of. I placed it within last time. And... Ah, there we go. Now I can awaken the wellstone. And when... Oh, okay. So with the wellstone being linked, if I put this here... Yeah, okay. See, it's... I can now... I can link back to the spring, and I can do the expand springs thing. Okay, that's neat. We're getting more, It'd be funny if you expand the flow until it's like a fire hydrant. I mean, that's kind of what I accidentally did here a couple of times. And I discovered what my floodplains were. Okay, so I need some flint. It's a shame I don't have steel. That's obsidian. I always play regards, because it's the most professional. I usually do peace, but, you know, I work in a religious context, so... Cheers? I don't really think of Cheers as on brand for you, but, you know. So now we can expand the spring. I'm out of the other magic. No, leave me alone. Would be on brand. I don't know. I feel like something maybe in Latin. Hope this email finds you before I do. That's a good way to get a visit from Human Resources. Yeah, look at this. We got a second source of water. I'm finally doing this part of the game. I wonder if I can plant a sunburst seed around here. Yeah, actually I can. That's not a bad way to start, because then I can plant this and I can turn it into a mother. HR like my joke so much they want me to tell it again. What do you do if your human resources person makes the bad joke? Tempest Fugit Memento Mori. That's what I'd expect Map Hack email signature to look like. Oh, is it pronounced Mori instead of more or more E? I've always heard Memento Mori, but it's a dead language, and even ecclesiastical Latin has drifted from classical Latin, so we're not entirely sure how it's all pronounced. No, he'd have the Chesterton quote in his signature, like underneath his signature. Well, if you were talking to a video, yeah, I don't think that they would hear you. Unless it's a live stream, usually the video doesn't hear you. Hey, I got white. Hey, Mel. Okay, so we need to go get more ghosts. So there's one out that way. There's one out that way. And one out that way. So I think I'm going to go here, teleport south, or teleport there, and then go south, talk to the ghost, and then go to the next grave. Oh, I forgot this is down here. That's right, language. I don't think that would technically resurrect it, but it would also be very difficult to have any real conversation, given the limited vocabulary, especially of ecclesiastical Latin. Like, it has a very precise language and vocabulary to do really one thing. I do believe that is the definition of a dead language. Ew, noxious spring. Dirty, stinky water. Yeah, I don't think that would make them a native speaker, especially because I think you have to have, in essence, a community. Like a language, yes, can exist within the mind of a single person, but to really be a language and fulfill its purpose, it has to, you know, be able to talk to. It is said that the high gods maintain the order of chaos in the world, but when everything ran into chaos, they could not stop it. Perhaps we gave them too much responsibility. Okay, is that a... I don't know if you gave... I mean, if they're deities... I guess it depends on your system of deity, but... The concept of, oh, maybe we gave God too much responsibility or Didn't help God enough. It's a little foreign. Yeah, Wraith attack soon. I couldn't remember what they were called when I was writing the headline or whatever title for the stream today, so kind of cringe. Well, you know, it's the musing of an individual. A lot of this game, though, I do like how it has explored sort of a positive understanding of creation. Old Crunch dressed up, his new fat just dropped. Maybe that's your email signature. It's also sometimes hard to know because the ghosts only give you like one sentence. Oh, hey, I actually have the things. In these temples, we once kept great gardens of rare and valuable plants. Yeah. Okay, and this next grave's way out there. But that'll probably be the next thing. Have you ever played Outer Wilds? No, I have not. I should probably get around to it at some point, but I would love it. Do I have you as friend on Steam? Probably not. Well, thank you. You don't have to, though, Map. I can definitely look into it, and if it's something worth doing on stream, I have budget for that. Actually, we might be able to get an acorn around here. Where am I going? Here. So this might be an oak tree according to this game. Let's find out. Dead oak tree. Okay. Acorn. Let's go. Ah, I need more sandstone. Sure, if I have everything I need for this grape while I'm here. Watch, this leaves me without enough essence. We fought the decay as long as we could, but it was not enough. All burnt, even as the waters were drawn away. We're unadded. I only still need another piece of wood. There we go, piece of wood. So then we can unlock this teleportation spot. Crocus Gate. Sounds like something Samwise Gamgee would have. Oh, it's the Crocus Gate, Mr. Frodo. So everybody's time at CK3? No. I have never played CK3, and I don't really care to. If I'm gonna waste that much time on a empire building game or whatever, I'm gonna play Civilization. Uh-oh. Oh, that's a frog. Yeah, I'll give the frog water. Hug a frog. Pick up frog. Frog's in backpack. I saw the glowing light and I thought it was the grave. And I thought I was going to have to dig it out. No! Glow sticks and sky ancestral lilies. That one's hard. Yeah, it's probably best to just go east. No, west. Yeah, west. I have several games with 100 hours. Lol. Actually, I just finished Marvel's Spider-Man the other day. That was fun. Thousands of hours across Paradox and CK3. That sounds about right with those kind of games. The game I'm thankful that doesn't track time is honestly Minecraft. I don't want to know how much time I spent on Minecraft over 15 years. Today's been a bit stressful. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Mel. Hope it gets a bit better. Or a lot better, at least. Or a lot better, but at least a bit better. You'll play 8 hours straight and then just stop. Ah, so the tutorial. Ooh, look at that. The water's managed to flow all the way down to here. And I didn't even do that. It just did that on its own. Make a nice little waterfall. We've got this wild sunburst shrub growing nicely. But can you kayak on it? I don't think this game has kayaking. I was just a bit stressed because they found some clots to your stepdad's leg. Ooh. It's an appointment Monday to get them busted with a laser. Ah, well that's fun. Unlike this Wraith attack, where you at? It's like whack-a-mole. Go away! Cobalt Core is a lot of fun. Yeah, it is. I found a gun. Will it help? Riggs is best character. I will not be taking any questions. Man, medicine is wild nowadays, and they can work on that in non-interventional. Yeah, it really is amazing what we can do. And yes, prayers for your stepdad and for the whole family. Song of Skies. At an eagle statue, exert limited control over the wind. Okay. Song of Stones. Need the other blessings for that. Companions. Improve your understanding of animal companions. Well, let's get Pure Spring, because we know we need that. Oh, yeah, I have a frog. Let's... Frog, welcome to your new home. Craig1505, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. My alerts box disappeared on my OBS for some reason. I'm gonna move my lean-to just a little bit. Let's see, anything else in the main base I need to do today? Eating time. Hey, you take care, Beer Fox. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Hey, Katie Food 32. Welcome on in, Raiders. Hope y'all are doing well. Booty. How you doing today, Katie? What are you up to? Some Persona? You're in the end game for reals. Ah, so it's the post-game final boss secret plus. Because that's how JRPGs work, right? Oh, that's exciting. So what, one more stream and then you'll be done? What you gonna do after Persona 5? Next game is Undecided. Oh, I haven't heard of Undecided. Is it any good? Maybe 2 or 3 Final Dungeons a bit longer than anticipated. Ah, okay, fair enough. that's. So I think we're good on those because now I can unblock the one thing, so I can plant the Sky Torch seed finally. Do a few shorties before making another big game commitment. That's not a bad plan at all. Let's take some wood with us too. Spring is up here, I think. Yeah, the problem is I really don't like the aesthetic of the Persona series, so... And it's not that it's bad, it's just I don't like it. So getting me to play one would be tough. Okay, where was that? It's up this way. Ah, right. I need a life spark and a blessed drop. Get a blessed drop. I remember. Oh, Naya gives them to me. That's right. Yeah, there we go. Blessed drop. Let's make a voice crack. Why not? Let's make a couple of those while we're here. And then we'll need the life spark. So to make a life spark, we're gonna need acorns, which it doesn't look like any have regrown here yet. But we did plant some acorn trees. Acorn trees. Did I just say acorn trees? Oaks! We planted acorns to make oaks. Oh my goodness, I'm a little out of it today, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little sleepy. You think remakes are inferior? That I mean, there are some that are, but I think there are some that are better. So it's hard to paint with a broad brush. But we have acorn squash trees. Don't know if my brain can handle that. We have a rotata. I actually use the gospel today uh, often in the confessional. Not the whole thing, because it's a little long, but the idea of, God and all the angels celebrate when the one lost sheep is brought back. And, especially for people who are like really nervous and maybe it's their first confession in a really long time. Brain can't. I'll tell them it's like, it's coming back to confession. This is a moment of great joy and rejoicing. It often helps put people at ease, especially if it's like their first confession in a while. Look at the frogs, they became friends! Oh yeah, look how far the grass is extended now. Frogs are food, not friends. That was the entire message behind the Muppet movie. What Muppet movie were you watching, K-Max? Like... I don't think we watched the same one. Where did I plant that second oak? That's a witchwood. Yeah, I don't think the takeaway of that, though, was we need to eat more frogs. That's what I'm saying. This is a beautiful tree. This is not a fig tree. This is not how figs grow. Never had frog legs. They sound like they'd be small. As a nervous confession goer, I've heard that before. Hey, there you go. Or maybe this is... Yeah, that's the other oak tree. So they're still ways off from growing. Can't you just give me a life spark free, like, as a treat? Maybe if we go here at the Crocus Gate, we'll find some. This is where we found a bunch earlier. There we go. Acorn. There's the teleport. Just got so lost. Spirit Darter. Thank you. Oros! Hello, Lonely Grave. I don't have what you want. No, I ran out of essence. I used too much making everything. God darn it. And I don't have an acorn to open up that portal, which would be convenient. There are no oak trees up here. I'm opening this water source up. Dang it. No, no. Okay, well, release frozen essence. Return frozen essence to the natural world, cleansing some of the nearby corruption. Ah, so that's what I use all those red crystals for. Okay. How do I actually get back, though? Do I have a torch? Wood seed, or whatever they're called. No, I do not. Okay, does anything I have return essence to me? No. Huh. You know, this always happens at the end of these streams. I always wind up, like, doing something and then being like, oh, I'm mildly stuck. So I think my best bet is if I go over here to the Sky God's place. Because maybe I can get some essence there. Oh, you have a quest for us. I hear you, crab friend. That's what that ominous whoosh. Not whoosh, but like bellow in the background was. Striga. Ah, yes. I don't have what I need. There's living plants here. Anyone want to give me essence? No? Okay. I'm slowly regenerating some, I think, or getting it randomly. I just need like 3 more to go home. Or no, oh, it's 12 to get there. Well, at least I'm sheltered here, somewhat. So if I had to wait out the day, I could. Wild Witchwood, so... yeah, you're not gonna give me acorns. Although I feel sometimes random trees will still just drop acorns in the desert. I guess this is the end of the map on the west side. Just goes off into an abyss, which presumably this would have been ocean, given where we are. Like, the idea is that the salt flats were originally an ocean, and we're trying to restore that. Among other things. This is where I really need to be planting the wild, or the witchwoods and making them into mothers. Oh, good. There's a dust storm approaching too. This day just keeps getting better and better. Yes, I hear you, crab friend. I don't like the sandstorm either. Okay, we're up to 8. So in theory, I could teleport to here, but then I'd be in the middle of the dust storm, I think. And that sounds like an even worse idea. Striga, you want to use some wind? Maybe help out a little? Eh? Eh? My cape is clipped into me. There we go. Okay, I'm up to 10. One more and I can get closer, which might actually even be on the other side of the storm. We can do this, chat. We can survive this. Just gotta stay in the shade. Come on. Don't really have a ton of shelter up here from the dust storm. Just getting very close. Just enough. Let's go. Yeah, we're on the tail end of the dust storm because there it goes. So that actually worked out pretty well. There's a way to sidestep it. Look at our pretty little grove. So verdant and full of biodiversity. I think that's where we're gonna call it, having made it back safely to base for once. This is literally the first time I think since I've started this game where I haven't ended somewhere outside of the base, so that's fun. So thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow for Midweek Minecraft, continuing on the Observatory. Thursday, continuing Secret of Monkey Island. We might actually discover what the secret is. Who knows? Saturday, bonus stream Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:30 Mountain Standard Time. The medium rotund Quizlet of Things and Stuff with Mel T. Gray, Map Hack, Webby Pumpkins, P. Tony, Arithmetic, and Breedy Bard. Should be a lot of fun. So join us for that. Should be a fun time. And I think that's everything. Well, Monday we'll be back to Clair Obscure, and Tuesday we're going to keep playing Wildmender through the rest of August. And then September we'll switch to a different game for Spirituality Tuesday. So thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. It's been good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I think we're going to raid into Neb if she's live right now, because it's her. She's doing a subathon for her birthday. So let's go give her some birthday wishes. Father Evan is promoting only on the end of his own stream. I don't get to raid Neb much because she's usually streaming late in the evening, but she's fun. Looks like she's eating spicy ramen, which is one of the goals. So anyway, raid call will be birthday raid or happy birthday or anything like that. Go give Neb some love. She's fun. She's good people. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care and God bless.